Welcome to Hidden US. This is episode 30, The Dark Secret History of Hollywood and the Elites. Behind the bright lights and red carpets of Hollywood lies a far older and darker story. It's a story of power, controlled by a small circle of studios, gatekeepers, and influencers who shaped not just entertainment, but the dreams and fears of an entire nation. Long before Hollywood became a global icon, it was just a rugged stretch of land outside Los Angeles. In the early 1900s, producers flocked there, fleeing strict film patent controls on the East Coast, and in the shadows of that migration, an empire grew. Massive studio lots rose like fortresses, guarded not just by gates, but by ironclad contracts, secrecy, and a rigid hierarchy. This was the infamous studio system, which reigned from the 1920s to the 1950s. It wasn't built on fame. It was built on control. Actors signed agreements that bound them to one studio for years. Their names were changed, their histories their relationships arranged, and their public appearances carefully staged. Studio bosses, not artists, decided who became a star and who vanished overnight. Their word could make or break a career. The Hollywood elite of that era were often assets to be managed, not artists to be celebrated. And the public, mesmerized by the silver screen, saw only the polished final product, not the machinery behind it. But the power didn't just come from studios. It came from the financiers who funded them, the press moguls who could destroy a reputation with a single headline, and the private investigators hired to bury scandals before the morning papers hit the streets. In the 1930s and 40 segundos, Hollywood deployed some of the most aggressive PR strategies in American history. Specialized fixers worked behind the scenes, managing everything the public should or shouldn't see. If a star faced personal struggles, those stories were suppressed. If a studio needed to boost a film, gossip columns mysteriously fell in line. Reporters were controlled. Only approved narratives reached the newspapers. This curated reality shaped the myth of Hollywood more than any movie ever could. Millions trusted what they saw in magazines: the glittering smiles, glamorous homes, and perfect marriages never, knowing it was all crafted in a studio office. This system wasn't just about entertainment. It was about influence. It was about shaping national culture during some of the most turbulent decades in American history. As Hollywood's power grew, so did its connection to politics. During World War II, studios collaborated with the government, producing morale-boosting films and propaganda. After the war, the Cold War's tension led to the infamous Hollywood blacklist. Actors, writers, and directors were barred from work based on political suspicion, not proven facts. Careers ended with a whisper. Scripts were written under hidden names. Countless artists simply disappeared from the industry's history books. This era proved how deeply Hollywood had become intertwined with American ideology. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a cultural engine that shaped patriotism, values, and even fears. But power also came from secrecy. The more the public adored its stars, the more the system needed to protect the illusion. Studios created private networks to hide controversies involving their biggest names. Police often looked the other way. Reporters held on to scandalous stories in exchange for future exclusives. The unwritten rule was simple: protect the golden image at all costs. While this maintained Hollywood's sparkling facade, it also buried countless stories of struggled performers who were overworked, underpaid, or pressured into lives they never wanted. The dark truth is that early Hollywood was never a democracy. It was a hierarchy where decisions came from the top, and those at the bottom had little power to resist. Then, in the 1960s and 70s, the studio system began to collapse, thanks to legal reforms and the rise of independent filmmaking. Hollywood transformed, but its elite power networks didn't just disappear, they evolved. Instead of a few studio bosses, power shifted to a complex web of producers, talent agencies, financiers, and media conglomerates. Getting ahead still required access to the right rooms, the right meetings, and the right connections. Modern Hollywood elite became a mix of corporate executives and influential agents who controlled massive budgets and global distribution. While it seemed more open on the surface, insiders knew the gatekeeping had just changed its form. Even today, A handful of companies dominate worldwide film distribution, deciding which stories get told and which never leave the script folder. And then there's the culture glamorous on the outside, but filled with pressure underneath. Hollywood projects images of perfection and success, but those inside the system describe intense competition and relentless image maintenance. Fame today might seem more personal, more social media driven, but behind the curtain, Hollywood still functions as a machine. The modern elite aren't just studio executives, they're PR architects, digital marketers, and brand strategists who decide what the world sees. At the same time, the industry has faced waves of reckoning. Brave individuals have stepped forward, exposing hidden abuses and bringing long-buried practices into the light. These moments have forced changes in contracts, protections, and the overall culture in ways the old studio system could never have predicted. They revealed that the darkness behind the glamour wasn't about a single villain, but about systems built on secrecy and the control of narrative systems that lasted for decades, because they were profitable and protected. Today, Hollywood remains both a dream factory and a reflection of American power. Its elite networks are more global, its influence more widespread. But the old question still lingers. Who truly controls the stories that shape our culture? Is it the artists, the studios, or the unseen forces operating behind closed doors? The truth is, it's not run by a single group. It's shaped by overlapping layers of economic power, political relationships, global markets, and a long tradition of image engineering. What makes this history so dark isn't some secret conspiracy, but the century-long pattern of quiet control and carefully curated narratives. In the end, the secret history of Hollywood is about the system itself. The system built on illusion, protected by influence, and sustained by our own fascination. A system that turned a patch of land into a global empire of storytelling. Hollywood's glamour will always shine, but its true history is written in the margins, between the lights and the shadows, where the truth was often softened for public consumption. And as long as stories remain the most powerful currency in our culture, Hollywood's elite influence will continue quiet, complex, and forever woven into the fabric of our identity. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more episodes of Hidden